Right guys, here we go. Another wedding party playlist. This is episode 7. I'm Tony Legend, joined by Dave Ralston.
Good to be here.
We're here in the studio once again, up in the mighty Ballymena. Hey, in this episode, we're going to be talking about 90s dance classics as we get into the kind of, that's your forte, Dave. I know you're going to enjoy this one as we talk about the tunes. But before we get into the kind of going into the tunes, let's just chat about a couple of little things that's come up. DJ behaviour, the kind of DJ etiquette. One question I kind of have for you is the dress code. Do you think that the DJ should turn up in a full tux and stuff, or what's your take on that?
So I've done both. Like years ago when I was sort of in my early 20s, I was DJing in a full 3-piece suit. Even if it was just after a band, there was I'd be sort of setting up and then where are you going? I was like, I'm going to get changed into my full 3-piece suit, and then very quickly the jacket's off, and then very quickly the tie's off, and it's just a shirt and a waistcoat. And yes, it's still dressy. And then there was a couple of times where I was like, right, I'm gonna go then like smart casual. So like pair of jeans, or pair of chinos, nice pair of just plain white sneakers, and either a shirt or a sort of a jacket with an undershirt, things like that. Now
Shacket, I like that.
I feel most comfortable in. As you've probably seen in one of the other episodes, I call it my disco shirt, but I've got quite a few of them, and it's so airy, it's comfortable, and I'm able just to sort of, in my head, I'm like, right, I'm here just to kind of have fun, play the tunes, get involved. I wouldn't dress down, I don't think, any more than that, ever.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Do you think couples expect the DJ to turn up in a suit? Because I don't know, I've never asked.
Yeah.
Something I've always thought about, it's like, is anybody raging that I'm not here in a shirt and tie?
Well, you know what, and that, listen, I've never been on that side of it, so I don't know. And like I know there's a lot of guys who do wear the full tux, and these guys are very much so doing sort of the meal entertainment and the hosting and doing the speeches and
yeah, I think that's
right?
slightly different. If you're there, if you're doing a lot of the hosting and walking around,
absolutely.
I think a suit definitely be appropriate. But
yes.
if you're just the DJ, but if you're the DJ, I don't know. That's kind of what I mean. What do you guys think? Do you think the DJ, no matter what? I mean, it's a wedding, everybody's dressed up nice. Should the DJ be there, top button, tie, dicky bow, waistcoat and all? There's definitely argument could be made that yes, but also you're not a guest. You're also not a waiter, but you're not a guest. You're in a unique position there. The photographers, they don't tend to wear fancy suits and stuff, but they're
working,
comfortable. So I see it kind of as maybe even slightly dressier than the photographers, because you're there, you're talking, people are looking at you. But I've never felt that I should really go wear a full proper suit, because like you say, the comfort factor, especially the loading in, if you're having to do all your own lifting, your speakers and stuff, and the last thing you want to do is wearing a full suit and you're lugging all your speakers in and all the sweating and stuff.
Yeah,
so,
100%.
Like I'm a heavy sweater at the best of times, like, so for me being comfortable, and like I normally would roll my sleeves up and maybe a couple of buttons, but I like to wear a nice shirt. Ultimately, it doesn't really matter what you wear in the bottoms and when you're behind the booth, but just a nice shirt for me. I feel like that's kind of my thing, and I've dressed up a bit and I feel comfortable in it.
Yeah.
But I'm curious to know what you guys think, if it's DJ etiquette to wear a shirt, is secretly people thinking, why didn't they wear a suit, sort of thing. So very curious to know what you guys think.
I think that if you sort of look at it, it's like anything, especially from a wedding perspective. There's no right or wrong way to do things. If you were doing a sort of like a gala ball, sort of, and you're going to the gala ball, you're in your tux, you're at a table, you're eating, and then you're going up to the DJ. Well, you're in your tux already. You're dressed for the occasion. But it's a case of, if you're going there and you're just the DJ, and you're set up, and as I said, I call them my disco shirts, my flory shirts. It's a bit of my personality as well. It's a bit of my sort of, not like almost like a DJ uniform, but it's
I've got fun vibes.
You
It
stand
starts
out
off
from
with
the
good
rest,
fun vibes,
of
and
course.
stuff, and
Do you know?
you are in a unique position as a DJ. You're not a member of staff. You're not a member of the bridal party. You're not even a guest to the wedding. It's a unique thing. But
of course,
no one's ever told me you should have wore a suit. No one's ever mentioned it to me. But there's been some times where I'm thinking, sometimes maybe it should be. So I still don't know.
I also know. I mean, I know. Obviously, it was sort of more frequent years ago. But like, there's boys who wear branded material. You know, there's boys wear polos with their business logo on. Boys wear shirts with their business logo on, and that's what they stand and work in with their, you know,
promo
and sorry, and you respect that as well. It's something that I've never done. But
it's open to interpretation. But again, guys, let us know in the comments what you think. Couple other bits just on the kind of DJ behaviour type thing. Buffet, do you ever eat the buffet when you're DJing? Is that faux pas?
So, well, I suppose it changes from venue to venue in the sense of there's some venues who the staff will bring you the food before it's even, you know, the staff will be like, listen, there's your buffet, you know, whenever you're ready, tell everyone that, right? Which is great. You know, there's other venues where the buffet's out and you sort of make the announcement. Sometimes the couple will come up and be like, oh, here, make sure you go and get fed, you know, like, you know, and there's other times where you'll kind of just be waiting for everybody to go, and then
play a long song
play and go over, and, you know,
if you've been there all day, you do need to eat. You know, I find, like, I mean I like my food, but if I've been at a thing all day, you know, and I'm going to be there all night, and I'm going to be like one of the first to arrive and one of the last to leave, you do need to eat, and you're not eating the meal like everybody else, like, so you do get a bit of hunger. So I do like to make the most of the buffet. It's a perk of the job. I see it as one of the perks of the job.
I'm more of a sweetie cart kind of guy.
I do that as well.
I do enjoy
all the perks. I'm there for all the perks.
I do enjoy raiding the sweetie cart, and if there's a crisp wall,
potato. I've had a couple of potato on the thing on the way home. Yeah,
there's a couple of venues that have done like, not even, they have their buffet, but then they have like supper, and I've seen it, and it's been potato, cheese and onion, bread and butter.
Yes, yeah, I've seen that too.
Like,
I like it.
I've seen myself driving home at 3 a.m. having a crisp sandwich. Unbelievable.
I do like the wee perks. I've had grapes and cheese home with me and all sorts. Now, that's a bit of a touchy subject because I actually forgot. I put it in one of my bags and then I forgot about it, and it's the end of that bag. Like, it's the end of the bag. I have a cheesy bag now. Like, it's kind of really full. The greed got the better of me.
Whereas my cheesy bag's filled with tunes.
dear. Final one, drinking on the job. Now, usually you wouldn't drink on a job, generally speaking, but when you're DJing, maybe it's slightly different. Like, I drive to all my gigs, so I don't drink per se, but if I'm not going to be driving home until 2 a.m. and I get there at 8 p.m, I'll definitely take a wee Guinness to start off the night and help me just get into the kind of the flow of the whole thing. And I do find a pint it just makes you kind of, settles you a wee bit and makes you feel like a little bit of the party vibes, and it just I would definitely have a Guinness if I was able to have one, but I don't know, I've never been drunk on the job other than at my brother's wedding. What about you? Do you take a wee pint or anything on the
any type of sort of like wedding corporate event, and all my own equipment and everything's there, you know, like a lot of the time, you know, you're getting like, you know, sort of one of the couple or the, you know, like groomsmen or whatever, and they're like, Dave, do you want a pint? And they're sort of, you know, kind of adamant that you have to take one, and you think to yourself, no worries, sure, I'll get a pint of Guinness. I in my head already know I'm going to get that pint of Guinness and have like a sip, 2 sips, and it's going to sit there. Yes. So a lot of the time I would rather a Red Bull or a Coke.
Yeah.
You know, from a DJing perspective, obviously other gigs, you know, what we would call like walk-ins, you know, there's times where I've been able to be lucky enough to have a rider and have drink there.
Oh, see, you're moving up in the world. Right? I don't get these yet.
But which you know, and you can have a couple, but the feeling of actually being drunk when you're performing and you're, you know, it's
you're not at your best. Simple, but if you're drunk, you're not.
You get as much of a buzz, that feeling of just looking around you and thinking to yourself, like, what makes me happy is that what I'm doing right now is making everyone else happy. You don't need alcohol.
No. Some people do. I do actually know some DJs who they drive to the gig but they never drive home. You know, the car's left there, they have to get a taxi home, and they drink all night. And sometimes I get a bit jealous because I see them right in the party. They are part of the party. They're jarving and dancing and really getting into it more than, you know, you're stood there stone cold sober. It's hard to get that same, lose yourself in the same way. So I think there's a happy medium. Like, I mean, if I had a dedicated, say money was no option, I just had a dedicated chauffeur. I don't think I would stop after 1 pint. I think maybe 2 or 3, and I think I would get into it a wee bit more. But
it's weird
by
because
driving, you don't.
I think, like, some people think, you know, like, because you're a DJ that you're. People don't realise at times it can be the loneliest job in the world. Like, you're driving home by yourself at 2, 3 in the morning. You know, everyone has been there enjoying themselves, having fun, but you're there actually working, and you're now switched off, and you're sort of trying to come down from that high of partying. The one thing that you hit the nail on the head when you said happy medium. When you're DJing, especially like when you're doing weddings, and you can be like, you know, talk about the master of ceremonies. You can be everyone's best mate, and they're, you know, when you're getting on, and every song works, and you're loving every guest, and you're having a bit of crack, but it's like it's all well and good being friendly, and you're there, and you're not as friends, but when the wedding finishes, it's like they're wedding guests. They all know each other. They're friends and family, and you're just the wedding DJ.
Yeah.
So it's almost like it's very, very easy to kind of outstay your welcome from being friendly and being friends to
the night's over, they're back to their rooms, and you're left packing up and driving home, going home to a quiet house and stuff.
For me, it's a case of finish the night off, you know, give the couple a big hug, you know, be like, listen, thank you so much. Sure, if I have a chance, I'll nip into the residence bar and see you before I go. Do you know that sort of thing?
Final one before we get into the 90s dance classics, because I know it's a good subject here and there's loads of tunes to get through, but etiquette wise, kind of, do you think you would always go to the bride? You think it's the DJ's job to go to the bride or groom at the end of the night? Because I find often they're chatting to so many people that I would have to go and interrupt them, and I would always try and say bye to them, but I always prefer it if they come to me, and if the bride or groom come to me and say, you know, thanks, and give you a wee thanks and stuff, because if you've done a good job, it is nice of them to come over and say thanks. It's not the be all and end all, but it is nice to have a chat with them after and get some sort of good feedback either way, if we go to them or they come to us. But it is nice to touch base with them and get some sort of you know, I enjoyed that, mate, and thanks very much. There's nothing better than them coming over with a genuine, like, grateful for, like,
100%.
You know, that gives you a good feeling at the end of the night. So I like that.
My sort of thing to, like, let's say, like, to tackle that or combat that, essentially, when we do our last song, you know, and the sort of couple are in the very middle, and it's like, you know, obviously every wedding they're singing one more tune, and it's, you know, it's very easy to be like, we've had such an incredible high there. That was the last tune that they picked. So if that is their last tune at the very, very end, I'll finish the song. I'm basically in the middle, and ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Please make some noise, hip hip hooray! And it finishes, and the song's over. I just give them a big hug. Oh, yeah. So we almost do our finish at that point,
of everyone, almost,
in front of everybody.
Yeah, good.
You know, and it's a case of thank you all so much. You know, enjoy the hangovers in the morning, and.
See, you're good. You're good.
You know,
you're good at what you do.
Rather than almost kind of like, because I almost find at that time, it's like it's a nice wee short and sweet. Listen, thank you so much, Jen. I really hope you enjoyed it. You know, and then if you're able to after that, have a wee chat with them. But there's
so many people that want to talk
of course,
to. You know what I mean?
So you get in before anyone, and then you start packing up.
Okay, since it's a wedding party playlist, it's time to get into the music. Dave, I think you're going to be in your element here. We're going to be talking 90s dance classics. Once again, guys, if you have any better suggestions or anything you like what we say or don't like what we say, please do drop us some comments. We want to build up as much feedback as we can before we do the mixes, and we are going to do mixes of all these podcasts, and we're going to finish up with the perfect wedding party playlist. So we're trying to curate it. We've been going through the decades, and we've got up to the modern day, but we'll finish off there. We've done up to 2020. We'll go to the new stuff in a little while, but I just want to go back in time a little bit, back to the 90s, back to some dance classics. There's loads of ones that come straight to mind here. I'll name a few, Dave. Maybe you can name a few as well. Alice DJ, Better Off Alone, certified hit. Freed from Desire, massive, especially in Northern Ireland for all the reasons, football and stuff.
Yeah.
Your Mate Wigfield, Saturday Night.
Yes.
I mean, again, that's just it's so nice to mix with as well when you drop that bass line.
But I love Sexy Eyes as well.
Yeah,
like,
you can mega mix it up a wee bit. I've got that as well, to be fair. Venga Boys goes without saying.
Of course.
Again, especially here in Northern Ireland, like just such a popular, so many popular tracks.
But I love doing from like it's almost from one extreme to the other. If you're sort of playing low, like sort of R&B, you know, sort of 105 BPM stuff. I would do a transition of like teaspoon, sex on the beach, Venga Boys, we're going to Ibiza, and then we like the party.
Gets into that,
so it's you're sort of from one. Do you know what I mean? It's a nice way of.
Yeah, it's a nice way of doing it. And Venga Boys have so many nice tunes. Probably my favourite one is this one.
It's just that sort of.
And so, sometimes you can loop that. You can just loop that in for a while, and
even
drop
but
that
like
in.
if you have the the sort of controller that you're able filter that out, so all you hear is the bass of the. Do you know?
It's so good. There's a couple other ones maybe on the outside there. Some Slash, some Gina G.
Yeah.
Their 90s classics. Superstar. I mean, still is a bit of a staple of the kind of the Northern Irish crowd, especially.
So it's one of these ones where and a lot of weddings, especially in Northern Ireland, these sort of clubland classics, 90s classics, are like you said a staple, expected that to be played, and it's sort of you need to be very careful at times not to kind of overcook it too early.
Yes.
So I do
timing's key.
I do like to sort of kick in with a bit of a rave after the first dance, and you get a sort of 10-minute attention span before I will purposely change it up for people to go back to their table or back to the bar or whatever and keep it going. But there's other great tunes like Samba de Janeiro, right? That build up, like with the drums, Quicksilver, Bellissima.
Yes, I play it sometimes too.
Great tune.
And
then, but as you're sort of kind of going up and up and up into you're sort of like you talk about 90s sort of trance classics, but they're still commercial in a way. Commisera, Let Me Show You. Yes. Do you know?
I think I have that. Yeah.
And like the list, there's so many. Scooter's massive.
We have a wee list in there. If anyone doesn't know, this is Commisera.
Yep.
Is this one of them songs that pays your mortgage?
What a tune! It's the build up. Skip it in. So we're here. Just that drop.
Oh, it's coming.
Where are we?
I've got another one after this too. Hold on. Go in here. Yes, blow your mind.
Yeah.
And what about the lunch?
DJ Jean. And
so that's let me show you. And then this one is DJ Jean. It's probably been a while since a lot of people heard this, so I'll give this a little spin as well.
But like
that's played loud, it sounds so good.
Yeah, and if you're just thinking the atmosphere, with a full dance floor and again, glow sticks in the air, and if you're lucky, venue permitting, if they let you use confetti, the atmosphere and just the kind of capturing the video. I mentioned photographers and content creators and videographers, and with a real sort of nice venue in terms of darken things down, and if your lighting is really kind of bright. And
do you put a laser on?
No, I actually haven't.
I have a wee laser, and I only put it on if they've earned it.
Oh, because it just sort of
if we get into that stuff and the rave's on and everyone's loving it, I get the laser on.
Yeah.
But I bought a really good smoke machine as well, but most venues don't allow you to use it, so it's kind of wasted. But I've a smoke machine with LEDs inside it that light up the smoke sort of thing. Yeah, vertical one, and it's like a geyser. And
I think the hard thing with the likes of that, and again, there's venues that, from an entertainment perspective, I've spoke with them. There's venues that have heat sensors rather than smoke machines,
yes.
Or rather than the smoke detectors, because the heat sensor is essentially,
it's hot,
and whereas smoke detectors can be very, very sensitive, and any DJ, even bands, will tell you, see, if you've invested in your lighting and you've moving heads and you've got uplighters and things, a bit of smoke makes such a difference.
Massive difference.
It really does.
Really, really big difference.
And like I know boys who have, it's like a hazer, and it can go 100% or it can go 1%.
Yeah.
And with that 1%, it just puts out that small bit, and you can see the lights flicker through.
Yeah.
Do you know?
I wish I could use that a lot more, because it does. It really helps your lighting and stuff.
I can't believe I haven't. I've mentioned it probably in every other episode, but I forgot bits and pieces.
Well, I mean it's in this category too. I mean,
Like,
I was going to get to it because in one of the final episodes we're going to be doing kind of the songs that we play pretty much at every wedding. So kind of safe to say that Bits and Pieces is kind of no matter what going to make an appearance at some point. I mix it in with Superstar actually because it's the same speed and it works out well most of the time. It's kind of banger after banger. At that point you want to just keep. Yeah, it's like you say, you don't want them to leave the floor. That's it. You've got them.
Toka's Miracle.
Yes, Fragment's in there. This one I'd say would maybe be in one of your always playlists.
Absolutely. But across nationalities, across cultures, ages,
it's actually from Finland, I believe. This song, isn't it?
Is it? Yeah.
It's Finnish or it's Scandinavian, but let's just admire it for a minute. Yes, you've heard this a lot. Hard to beat. But yeah, that's in there with the kind of 90s dance classics that we're kind of talking about. And once these tunes come out, you know, the party's on.
Massively.
You know what I mean? And there's so many songs from that era that I reckon a lot of your weddings you play a lot more of this stuff than I kind of get to play. I kind of have to work my way up to it a lot of the time.
I would play a lot of dance music, and now when we're talking about sort of like your 90s dance hits, we've just went straight to the extreme. One thing that I've started especially doing, you know, like see when you go into your sort of 120 BPM and up, snap rhythm as a dancer.
It's actually next to my list there.
We mentioned, obviously, so Hadaway's great, you know.
Show Me Love, Robin
finally,
S is on
Show
there.
Me Love, the
Born
original.
Slippy.
Oh, but Born Slippy for towards the end.
Yeah, it's
massive.
Peak,
you know,
peak,
that's up there for me with like Pretty Green Eyes and Scooter, Logical Song.
Yeah.
But like Ultra Nate, Free.
Yes.
Great.
Yeah.
And even
a bit more mellow though.
Lola's Theme. You know, Shapeshifters. Because you're sort of. We talk about transition over 90s dance, but it's a nice way to transition if you're going like 70s disco, 80s sort of kind of dance, and then you're building up. Rather than, you know, again with weddings, the good thing is you can go from one extreme to the other, but there's times where you're able to work with the room, work with the dance floor, and build it up. And
I find as well, if a wedding, if you're able to play a lot of dance music at a wedding, generally that is a very fun wedding.
Yes.
You know, because people are, it's a proper party then, and there's no ambiguity as to, you know, people don't like it. People, if the floor's busy, the dance music's on, nobody really can complain, even if it's not your thing. The place is rocking, and that's all that matters.
I definitely think, especially like a lot of weddings in Northern Ireland, so like songs come into my head there that you think like proper 90s old school. So Tribal Church, Joe Inferno.
I haven't heard that.
No. Amen UK, Passion. Like they're
you're teaching me
here. But it's like 90s sort of like, you know, real just club classics. And when I get to play them at weddings and there's people that are dancing and they look at me and they were like, I haven't heard this song in 20 years.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
It really kind of makes me love what I do even more.
Yeah, no, I respect that. That's all we have time for in episode 7. Big thanks as always to our sponsor, Starling Entertainment. If you need any entertainment at your wedding, music, bands, DJs, starlingentertainments.com. You can book me, you can book Dave, you can book me and Dave, you can book anything you need. Pipers, Ceilidh dance, Ceilidh callers, trad bands, across the whole spectrum, anything you want at your wedding, starlingentertainments.com. Link in the description. Big up as always Alan here at Arc Media for the production, Leaf Designs Ballymena for the set, Leaf Designs ni.co.uk. Thanks to you for listening and watching. Do drop us some comments, let us know your kind of feedback on the songs we've been discussing, and we are going to compile all of these into a mix to help us have the ultimate wedding party playlist. Catch you in the next episode.
Cheers.